Hey Scorpio, how about a message from your metal dog? I have rejected 2 messages already. You know, I'm stubborn. We are stubborn, right? We're fixed signs, which means we get shit done. Everybody else moves on, changes their mind, but we keep going. Okay, so we're going to keep this one. There is motion, there is air. There's a lot going on in your head. Looks like you're changing your perspective somehow here, Scorpio. Okay. And then we get plants. And I love this image. I got this just in a little reading I did for myself yesterday. And I love how we have this elk who is the earth, who is very much that card of security, but also a card of our relationship to the earth and to consider it as a living being. Perhaps one that is difficult to understand, but who's like standing there waiting for us to understand. So this could be somewhere in your home life. It could be in your relationship with nature. We will see. But there's definite movement in your mind, progression in your thinking towards something here related to growth and life. So it could be your personal growth. It's a very powerful energy, but it's also very grounded. Okay. And to add to this, let's pull one more little oracle deck card here. I'm wearing my S is for Scorpio. So many beloved Scorpios, including myself, my sisters, family members, friends, my coach. All the awesome people are Scorpios. Okay, let's see here. Ooh, fog. Now this sort of brings up something that we're seeing here in this motion. There's definitely a coming out of a period of fogginess. Towards on the bottom, the rat. Oh, my sister is a rat, Scorpio rat. It's your Chinese astrology. If you don't know, like a metal dog is my Chinese astrology. So every 12 years, like my niece is born in 1994, is a wood dog. Anyway, you can find this out. So the reading today here is meant to be a message from your future self. There is some kind of changing of your mind and clarity. I wanted to look up this cute little rat here and see what the rat's about in this deck. The other ones make great sense to me, but this rat, let's see what the book will add to that. Cleverness, creativity, survival. This is your mind that's coming up in this air. Rats are one of the most hunted animals on Earth by both humans and other creatures. Despite this, they have not only survived but thrived, having spread to every continent except Antarctica. I can't say that. Antarctica. They are adaptable, determined, and able to squeeze out of tight spaces. In Asian cultures, they are also revered as symbols of wealth and luck. It is one of the 12 creatures of the Chinese zodiac. Isn't that funny that I mentioned that? Well, there you go. I'm always thinking of my little sister when I do these readings. All right, so this is a message from your future self, and we're going to pull 5 cards from the tarot, and I'll let you know what they mean as we go along. But we're going to get first from the Dark Tarot, what is the reason for this message? You're coming out of the fog. Your mind is clearing. as yet foggy to me. Okay, so the reason for this message is the Fool. Oh, there's a new beginning here. You're starting a new journey. There's in this dark tarot, it's dark, but there is something that you're looking back at that is dead. That skull is making me think of that, and the skulls often represents mortality. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I love getting older, but there's some ways that getting older can be also a process of grieving. No, it's like really strange to look at my mortality. And like I said, I love getting older. I like the comfort that I feel in my skin. But yeah, this is reminding me of this, that in the night I knew I needed to look right at this, what is ending, what is ahead, which is like a long ways ahead. I'm planning to live at least another 40 years. I figure when I'm in my 90s, we'll just see, right? But there is like a need to transition in some way that's coming up in this reading that hasn't been clear, but it is now emerging as clear. Okay, so now we're going to get 3 cards of advice. So the first thing that we want to know is what you need to face as you go on this journey. And your future self says this is a journey about a totally new beginning. It's about a leap of faith. I already see this like looking death in the face here. Change is what the death card in the tarot means. Transformation. It is our card, one of our cards, Scorpio. So it could be like, you're facing yourself, you're seeing yourself in a new way, but you're not afraid. That's not really the nature of Scorpios, to be afraid to face our darkness here. Okay, so what do we need to face as we do this? We need to face a 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles is quite often about control and having difficulty releasing like the few things that we have, the things that are actually too small. We should have an expansive, abundant relationship with everything, like give it away, get more. But the 4 of Pentacles can be a security based clinging to old ideas here they're not actually, these old concepts are not actually satisfying in some way. And it's very much in your 3D world, your pentacles, your security realm. So yeah, that's a great thing to face, is like asking yourself, am I being controlling right now? I need to look at that. Okay, so now we want to know what we should let go of. So we're facing that, and we're letting go of the sun. So interesting when we get this concept of the sun. This is a card of Leo. It's also a card about our ideal of happiness, our ideal of who we are, of our authentic self. So to let go of the concept, perhaps, of your happiness that you've been holding on to here, that you need to face that there's some way that this 4 of Pentacles and this idea of the sun are, I see them prohibiting you from going forward on this journey, because we have the air, the motion. It kind of makes me think of the Chariot card, of that, all that momentum, all the horses. But it's also, because it's of air, it is of our mind. So it's our concepts, it's our ideology. Okay. Now, the tarot wants you to know, this is something that you're not aware of. You would be aware of these other things, but this is what we want to know. And that's funny, because we just get the Queen of Swords, and she represents clarity, but she also can represent the recognition of what is in your life that is good and what is in your life needs to be released. And finally, let's see, who is this future self? Where are you in the future? We get an Eight of Pentacles. She is looking good. This is work. This is in the realm of working hard, being a master of whatever this trade is. I think it's a very funny image here. She's like kneeling at a pillar. It's very kind of tower feel. Yeah, so it makes me think of an image that I study of these people kneeling at a pillar representing the French monarchy. So that's boring. But what I also am getting here is like a tower. It's like work is getting hit in some way. Perhaps with inspiration, that you're like getting new inspiration from work. So this reading could be in the realm of work, but it's somewhere that you're putting effort into here on this new journey that the Fool is taking. Okay, let's see. I'm always a little bit disappointed when it's about work, honestly, but let's see what we can do through clarification. You're definitely getting clarity from the fog. That's what this Queen of Swords wants you to see clearly. See more clearly through this fog. Yeah. And this rat, it's like a feeling of being, like it said it was one of the most hunted animals. So that could be like, yeah, that rat's not totally... cleverness, creativity, and survival. I see that coming up here in your future self, like creativity, cleverness. There's a kind of apocalyptic feel to this deck in general. Like, that's all about really rad, gorgeous Amazonian women here. To be adaptable, surviving, able to squeeze out of tight spaces. There's definitely a kind of adaptation and change that is coming in for everybody right now. And it can just be like a changing of our mind, but let's see. If you're still here, if you want to hear about work, but it's going to be bigger than work, Scorpio. So let's see. Fool. What about this Fool? Looking at this Death's Head. 5 of Water, a kind of regret. I'll show you. Queen of Water. And it's an emotional ending. Page of Air. Okay. Yeah. So we get, first of all, under the Fool, to clarify what this is about. This is about your emotional life, and how you're looking at your emotional life. It's definitely about a perspective shift. And there's 3 kinds of energies that are coming together here, and I'll show you. So here we see a 5 of Water. This is something has ended. This is your heartbreak. This is your regret. You're grieving. This is important to do this grieving. There is a new cup being offered to you here by this fairy angel. As you would read it, this deck is a deck of fairies. And the water signs are coming in here as mermaids. You can see the 2 mermaids swimming down here. Gives me a kind of feeling of what you've lost is this. It's a relationship of some kind. Very often, usually, it's kind of relationship grief, and I think in a 5 of Water. And then what you can look towards is that there's going to be a new beginning, represented sometimes by 2 cups. And this one, an Ace of Cups. This is a divine love, and it means it's a very broad category. It could be a true love that is divine, but it also can be self-love, or some other kind of spiritual, emotionally fulfilling path that you are definitely starting out on. So we can see here in this Fool that there is this ending that's coming in here as a 5 of water. Then we see the Queen of Water. This is such a funny Queen of Water to me. You know, the Queen is a lovely, emotionally mature person, water sign. She can also be quite open with her emotions. But this particular Queen of Water, I always notice that she's just kind of lounging around. And then apparently there's some part of me that wants her to do something. Whenever I see this card, I'm like, it's time to do something. And I get frustrated with the not doing something. There's a kind of slow process here, where I'm ready to start this journey that the Fool represents. But there's a kind of stuckness. And I think that comes up here with what we have to face as well in this 4 of Pentacles place. Okay, there's also a Page of Air. This is of the mind. This is a curious person. This is a person who can be chatty. It can be a person who watches, like, is engaged in social media, is like really, in this image though, this Page of Air is really looking for information, not on the internet. It's a very much like looking to the spirits of air, to the mind, right? So we have air here. So this is this raven, or crow, because this artist loves crows, is coming in with a message of truth, of information. So this is what I see, is that your journey begins when we begin to see motion, when you get a truth. And it's not a big truth, it's a page of air. So it's just an idea. It can be a new idea. It can be a needed idea. But it is definitely going to set you in motion and move you out of what has been like deep feelings that you've just been stuck in, grieving and coming to terms with, before you take that new cup and go on your journey once you get this message. And so that's what I see between here and here, is a movement from grief into like just kind of getting comfortable in your solitary emotional situation. It's very lovely and deep, and I don't know, it always comes through as a little bit passive, but then this new idea comes in here. And so that's what this is about, is some kind of new idea that's going to move you out of these feelings, or you're seeing something or understanding something. So you're supposed to face control issues here. Your control issues, somebody else's control issues. Let's see. This may be what this truth is about. Looking at, oh, I'm being afraid, I'm grabbing hold. I'm not being expansive, I'm contracting here. I think you're doing that because you've been focused on the past and what you've lost, and you've been kind of just getting comfortable with those feelings. Okay, but let's see. 4 of Pentacles. There's this 6 of Air. This is what this air motion card here that the Oracle gave us makes me think of. A 6 of Air. It's like a movement from one place to another, usually with your ideas. So it's like it's a change your mind card. It could be a real journey, a moving from one place to another in a physical sense, but I think of it more of intellectual, ideological, philosophical change. And the fact that she's just holding this light up, she's looking at the sunrise. When you're in a 6 of air, it means you've been a little bit uncomfortable. Like it's often turbulent where you are, and that you can look ahead to a more peaceful beginning ahead. So this is a part of what you've been holding on to here in this 4 of Pentacles. And there's death. There is you, the death card. This is a mighty transformation that you're going through. Very powerful. You can see that she is wielding that energy there with her hand. Somehow it makes me think of this fog card, because these blurry places are like places where things are still emerging. They kind of lack clarity still. That's definitely, so we're facing a major transformation, an ending. This is about starting a new journey. Something is ending. You're kind of working through the feelings about that. And so in this process, you face, and then there's this 8 of air. There's just definitely stuckness in your mind here. 8 of air is a feeling, a perspective. You're blindfolded. You feel tied up by these spiders in a web. It's actually not true. It's just a viewpoint. So what you need to face is that something is over. You feel stuck in it. You're grabbing hold of it because you're not sure what's next, but the cards are telling you that there's a new day dawning. It's a better day, and it's so it's coming up here. Okay. I feel very foggy. I feel the fog. I feel the confusion here in this reading. It's a strange feeling. Almost like, I feel like giving up is the feeling. So when you're reading cards, like, that's some good information. Like, that you, Scorpio, in some aspect of your life, are in a very heavy, stuck energy that you need to face. You need to confront that something's over. It's time to move on. But you're very, very, very tied up in it. You're very much, there's a lot of passivity in you, Scorpio. That's not a typical feeling. It's very uncomfortable for me to feel stuck. I'm not going to say I don't get stuck, but it doesn't feel like us. It feels like other people. But there's definitely going to be some help here from your future self with this. Okay, so we have the sun. This is our idea of happiness. This is a terrible thing to be told to let go of. There's definitely a shift in your perspective, and you need to change your mind about something. That's very clear. So maybe it's about what your concept of happiness has been. It's time to let go of it. This is also a kind of Leo energy. You may have Leo in your chart. Leo's in your life. I have a Leo moon. Let's see. Let go of this. So the Queen of Fire. There's that more fiery energy, more fire sign energy. We are in Sagittarius. That could be part of this fire. But the Queen of Fire is a very sexy and dramatic. And she is the law of attraction queen. She makes what she wants real in the world. She's quite charismatic. So this is your let go. 10 Ten of Earth. You finish something in the security realm, in the career 3D world. You're done. You've achieved something here. This really relates to the concept of happiness represented by the sun. I mean, Ten of Earth is a very positive thing that you've reached. It's a place that you have felt secure. What else? Ace of Water. There's that Ace of Cups that we saw. The reason that you're supposed to let go of this, really, what has been your ideal in some way. And it doesn't have to be a person, it doesn't have to be a job, it doesn't have to be anything practical. It's like a concept of happiness. It's been very compelling and I would say very seductive and safe and beautiful. It's not anything bad at all. It's just that you've completed this part of your life. You're supposed to go on a new fool's journey. So we've seen death here, and we see a Ten of Earth, and now we're seeing an Ace of Water, which is the Ace of Cups. This is a new emotional beginning. It feels very spiritual. You're moving towards something really beautiful. It's so gorgeous. There's like all this rainbow light here and this bird coming in. If you have like a spiritual practice where you're connecting in some way with the divine, this is really bringing in a gift for you, and it's new. And so that's why you're supposed to let go of what has been your concept or your ideal of happiness. I feel like this is happening for all of us, that we're needing to re-look at what we thought we wanted to be or wanted to do or wanted to even feel when we grew up. And it's very foggy still, like this fog, it's what I'm feeling. There's a kind of, because we see this plants here and we see this rat, like this is so much about Earth. And the Earth right now we're dealing with Earth as a being that is responding to us. It is being stubborn. It is full of light. It's beautiful and magical and powerful. And in some way, like my whole life, the relationship that I had with Earth was like, I love being outside. I love swimming. I love hiking. I just love to be outside. Even when I was a baby, I would be crying and my mom would just put me outside and it would quiet me down. But because of what's happening with climate change and this pandemic, it just feels like for the first time in my life that I must acknowledge how powerful Earth is and that things are changing in dramatic ways. With or without me, they're changing, so that this change, that this motion, that is being kind of brought in here through the air cards, the Six of Air, and then that air card and death. Like even the Ten of Earth, like this is our old relationship. It's beautiful. It makes me think of like a childish concept being exchanged for a more mature one, maybe because this is a message from your future self. And what it's drawing us towards is to be creative and resourceful, to be survivors in what is coming in as a new world. But it's very hard still to actually understand what's happening and how to respond to it, how to respond to this change and who we want to be in this change. It's requiring us to change our minds in a very fundamental way about, I think I already said this, like when I imagine the future, I used to think of it this way, and now I need to think about it in a new way. Okay. Like Ten of Earth makes me think like it's the house, it's the career, it's stuff, it's a lot of things. Like we can see that they are taking and putting into that bag. They're picking things. I think they're picking apples. So they're picking apples. So they're taking from Earth. Yeah, and this Queen of Fire. This is like fire season. Like this summer here, there was early on before the monsoon, there was fires that were coming right towards my house. And so that's a part of why we're being required right now to adapt, like the rat, to the earth is now an actor in our lives. And we've been taking from earth. So that's this. I think it's clear, right? Like we're changing our idea of happiness, Scorpio. Yeah, and there's something much more light and divine and here. There's a lightness. There's a heaviness to what we need to. My fingernails are very short. Okay, so we need to face like we've been holding on to things, pentacles, house, job, security, all these things. We get trapped, grabbing hold of what makes us feel safe. We're not really content in it, right? Maybe we're just like lounging around in it, but there's like, yeah, this Queen of Water, like she's not even really coming. She's just so far back in the image and I can't see her face very clearly, and she's very, I don't know, I feel like I can't reach her. And so like when we turn to this new idea coming in this page of air, we're not happy, Scorpio. There's a discontent, there's grief, there's loss. It could be like an obvious and significant loss, right? That is setting you off on this fool's journey. I feel like what I'm seeing is that your perspective has been negative. It has been creating passivity, a sense of kind of like waiting. Even this image, there's a waiting to receive. It's a very receptive energy. And there is this angel with this Ace of Cups in the Five of Water here. Right? There's that angel. She's got the Ace of Cups. Like there is something actually being offered here. Right? We're seeing that here. This is that Ace of Cups. But that could also be when we're letting go of like waiting for something to come in. Well, let's see. What's hidden is the Queen of Swords. Like this Queen of Swords, I like her. She's got her hand on her hip. She's intense. She's looking right out there. What is she looking at? She's going to pull that sword and she's going to just remove that. I don't need that anymore. The Queen of Swords. This is what's hidden from you. This is maybe something that you need to do. Or let's see. This is what the tarot wants you to know. Or what your future self wants you to know. Together. They're using the tarot to tell you. A Knight of Air. There's more of that receiving the truth in the Knight of Air. And the Knight of Air is actually usually like a very active card that is bringing the truth. It is rushed, is fast, is impatient, can even be angry. So we could see her sending that bird out with this message, but I still see a very receptiveness here, which I think it's good. You're supposed to change your mind in this reading about something. And so if you're waiting for, like, see that all these birds are coming in, and birds represent air, and they represent truth in the mind, concepts, intellect, philosophies, ideas. The Ace of Water here is an emotional gift. It's an emotional offering. So you're looking, there's emotion and there's intellect here. Moving you on from the security-based havingness that has been an ideal of happiness. What else? Let's see. The Page of Earth. Page of Earth. Beautiful. I love this Page of Earth. I just want to keep looking at this. This is a substantial new offer. It's real. It's physical. It's a nice little start. You can see the apple seed there. It's being, it's, so if you think about what you need to face is like a bit of controllingness and having hold of, she seems obsessed inwardly, kind of, there's something unreachable here, like you or someone or something in you or in someone, like that you're having frustration reaching. It's like removed, it's dissociated, it's I feel like you're waiting for somebody else or something else, like outside of you, right? Okay. What's hidden from you is this is coming in. We got a bird coming in. We can see her sheltering this apple. That's what I was wanting to get at here. Like, if the Four of Pentacles is a clinging to, this Page of Earth is like here, like very gently, like offering half an apple too. That seems important. It's just sharing in that. And then there's the Sun again. This is your new concept of happiness, right? We're releasing one Sun. It's very similar cards actually, with these winged figures. Again, referring us to our concepts, our truth, our air, the message of air, more than normal in the Sun, which would be with wands and fire and Leo. So the old truth, and there's a new truth that is still hidden from you that is coming in, and it's a new ideal of what happiness is and who you are, your authentic self. I again see Earth and this Queen of Fire. Remember, she made me think of like forest fires, and that the Earth itself is telling us, giving us a message. Like here I see that you could see fire, I see magic, I see power still coming from the Earth. I see the clouds parting, and we can see that just like the summer when the woods here burned, here's the storm, here's rain coming in to put out this fire. Water, emotions, passion. This is very much what Scorpio is, a mix of fire and water. This is a much, I don't know, they're very similar suns. Like, I think as I'm wearing this shirt, because I thought Scorpio S, whatever, it's being sassy, but it's like got a dominatrix on it. So anyway, without getting into that too much, it's from my youth. So I see this kind of more guardedness, and this is still full of fire, but a change in from fire. And I see this here in this new Ace of Cups. There's that rain that creates a rainbow, this new Rainbows always make me think of justice. They make me think of queerness. They make me think of looking at the world from a queer vantage point, which is outside the norms, can be have that critique of Neo in the Matrix, where you're like, hey, I've never been benefiting from this, and this is what it looks like from the outside. And there are many people in our society who have not been receiving the benefit of the social contract, which is that we agreed to be obedient because we're protected in being our true selves and being recognized for who we are, and that this has been a very narrowly focused light, that it has only shined light and given recognition to people who are usually male, usually white, usually straight, usually elite. And that now, as we begin to envision how we want the world to look, the queer perspective that is open and is not restricting. The basic idea is that we all have a livable existence. And I think one of the strategies of it is really to not have an opinion about how other people are living. That's all I want as a queer person in my gender. I just, and honestly, like with everything that's happening, I'm a political person. I teach history. But what has been so clear to me, partly because of the pandemic, but also partly because of like the ugliness of our politics and the ridiculousness of like our inability to come through this pandemic as a collective that is unified. It's just very frustrating. And I just feel like when I was born in 1970, I was born into a world that promised to end poverty, that promised like that diversity would be welcomed, that it was like a utopian moment to be born into. And I was born right at the beginning of its ending because there were certain shifts that started happening, which I won't get into, but that have led us down a path where, particularly coming from a queer perspective, queer people were targeted as a problem that could be used to distract us from what has been an increasing inequality, that we don't all have access to this concept of happiness, of havingness. So we have the idea of that we want so much, but there's a limited amount of what we can have. And so then we're in competition with each other. We're surviving. Yeah, it's this rat, this survivor. Like we're all kind of like reduced to basic survivalism, and it's not our best selves. So that was like, so what the tarot wants you to know is that as you remove whatever is not working for you, and this can be like a very personal job, people, your very local situation, but it could also is clearly about the result of a process of changing your mind about what it means to be happy. And that when you do this, like the Queen of Swords, you remove what is no longer what you want, the old way of thinking, the old life. Death is here. It's over, right? 10 of Earth is here. You've done it. 5 of Water. You're grieving already whatever has been lost. So now you might as well let it go instead of grabbing hold of it, that 4 of Pentacles feeling. And when you let it go and you cut it out, there's the Knight of Air. There's this new truth that is, I feel, coming in. You've been waiting for it anyway. There's also this offer. This is somebody else offering you this very 3D real thing. It's like the thing, it's your wish. It's this wish too. It's a heart, and it's of earth, And it is a new concept of happiness on some scale in your life. There's a new balance of passion and emotion, of heart and fire, water, fire. Okay, your future self is this worker. So let's find out more about the worker, the future you that has this message for you. She's definitely kneeling at this broken down pillar that is being struck with fire, with lightning, with inspiration, which is to me bringing another ace in, the Ace of Wands. Okay. We've got a page making me think of the Ace of Earth. We got the Ace of Water. And there's lots of Ace of Swords here with these birds. So I feel like all the aces are here because this is a fool's journey. You're starting new. Everything's new in all four ways. A new beginning on some scale, on some level in your life, or maybe multiple levels in your life. So the future you is the worker, is victorious. 6 of fire. There's that fire. When the sunflowers bloom here, that's like late summer. 5 of earth. There's that sun. There's the wolves. There she is, feeling outside, feeling abandoned. Let me find out more here. That's coming in a different way for me here. And the 7 of air. 7 of air. The fairy has taken that feather, that powerful feather, from the Council of Elders. So this is normally a card about stealing, about lying, about being secretive, very Scorpio tendency to be secretive. To me, this is about a young one taking power from the old ones. And I think that's a part of this new way of living. It's very powerful work to do. And it's the kind of work that you do that is going alone into the winter woods. This is a winter woods. Like, this is how the sun feels in the woods here, and there's snow on the ground. And you feel that you're dealing with all of those red wolves. What are those? Your fears. This is your future self, is able to be steady and be grounded alone in the woods with your fears. This makes me think of, like, I go to Orange Theory. I have this coach. She's a Scorpio. She helps me so much with my terrifying anxiety that my heart is going to explode and there's not enough room in my chest and I'm not going to be able to do it. Like, I can't breathe so often in this class. Like, I'm struggling with the very idea of, like, I'm going to die, right? I'm struggling with my mortality, with this idea that when I'm actually facing in 1 hour, usually on the treadmill, but at first it was just rowing, is what I can't. It's my limits. And she talks about facing our fears in our minds, really. The swords, our minds. She says, your mind is going to quit 100 times a day, in a run on the treadmill, in something where you're uncomfortable, where you're facing all of your doubts. And every day that I do this, and this happened today, I just trust her that she's done it, and that because she's done it, I'm going to be able to do it. And then I kind of try to be like, well, I'm going to be curious, like, Can I sprint for 1 minute with this feeling of anxiety? And what happens if something bad happens? Like, I'm actually going to be in this place where there's lots of people and this coach that I trust, and they'll help me. And my heart never explodes. I never fall off the treadmill. And that's what I feel is happening here, is this victory where you find your inner resources, your power. You face these scary wolves here. And look at her. I feel like she's just gathering from the darkness and the coldness. Really and this is something that we Scorpios can do, that we can take power from facing our fears, from the experience of abandonment and loss that is clearly here, and that your future self is finding power from that and victory. And this is a power that has been kept by people who are up the hierarchy, but that young you, the fool that is this journey is a fool's journey. And here you are with the secret. Your future self says, you have the secret, you have the power, it is your right. And this is coming in. This is the work that you do here. So this is not necessarily your job. This is definitely work in the larger sense of whatever it is. If it's not an Orange Theory workout, what is it where you're pushing, you're facing, you're definitely being helped by a voice like this bird that has truth, that's showing you what you can do, what's possible, and really like a new sun, a new sense of what happiness is, what authenticity is, of who you are. So that is your message, Scorpio. I honestly still feel a little bit foggy. I feel like this was a message where I feel a part of the collective as well. And yeah, I wanted to say to anyone that makes it to the end of a reading, like, I love giving readings, and if you're my friend and you know me in some way and you'd like to schedule a one-on-one reading with me, I would love it. It would be my Christmas gift to you, my Scorpio friend. So get in touch. Let me know. All right. Have a beautiful day.